The Xbox and Activision Blizzard deal has taken yet another turn. Could the CMA reverse their choice to block the deal sooner rather than later? Find out. Up next. What up guys, this is Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content, drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. Also, before we get into today's story, we are almost at 300 subs, so if you're new here or you just come across this video, why don't you throw a sub this way? But let's get into the news. So there seems to be rumblings that the CMA's choice to block the Activision Blizzard deal could make a complete 180 in the coming months. Of course, over these last few months, the CMA's choice to block the deal was heavily criticized by the UK government, and the UK Chancellor Jeremy Hunt was pretty vocal on this matter, saying the CMA might need, quote, strategic steering. He also cited how there would be a wider responsibility to regulators at play here to promote economic growth within the country. The UK also has lofty goals to be this new tech hub of the world, but after repeated roadblocks throughout the Activision Blizzard deal, it's pretty hard to come to that conclusion. And throughout this whole ordeal, Activision Blizzard boss Bobby Kotick said the UK is a lot less like Silicon Valley, but more like Death Valley. Man, oh man, do I love that quote. But recently, Brad Smith, who is the president of Microsoft, met with Jeremy Hunt and told the Tech UK Policy Leadership Conference that, quote, I am in search of solutions. He continued, quote, if regulators have concerns, we want to address them. If there are problems, we want to solve them. If the UK wants to impose regulatory requirements that go beyond those in the EU, we want to find ways to fulfill them. It's also worth noting that Brad Smith is apparently set to meet with officials from the CMA this week while he's out in London. Now, the appeal that Microsoft set out for this deal is due to be heard next month, and a verdict could be reached by August or even September. And again, the lone two regulators that have come forward to block this deal as of right now are the FTC and the CMA. What's worse for the CMA is a regulator within the same space, being the EU, approved this deal with concessions, and that paints the CMA in a very bad light. And it's abundantly clear that the UK and their government as a larger figure wants to be a tech hub of the world, but they can't achieve those lofty goals if regulators within their own country are blocking deals that make this happen. And that argument that the CMA has been making over blocking this deal, which is an emerging cloud gaming market, has some flaws and lacks concrete facts. As a matter of fact, Sony just recently put a dent in that argument because they came out themselves and noted the market was tricky and technical difficulties within that market were high. But despite all that outside pressure that the CMA is currently facing from not only their own government but the world at large, they're sticking to their guns here. In a quote given to the Times from the CMA, it stated, quote, our review remains that to maintain a free competitive market is better than accepting Microsoft's plan for continuing regulations. So it looks more and more like the CMA will take this to the bitter end. Now, will these meetings that have taken place this week drastically change the course of this deal, and will it get magically approved by Friday? Now, I don't personally think that happens, but in the long run, I think this does help Microsoft's case when they're appealing to the cap. But as per usual, I'm going to pass this question off to you guys. As of right now, Microsoft is extending any hand they can to meet the requirements that the CMA has in place. So why haven't they agreed to terms? But that about does it here. I've been Kalo. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content, drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.